Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We've got to talk about the finale of The Bachelorette.
We do, but first, if you're new to this channel, sometimes the intro goes in quicker, but also give us a subscribe and a like, and you can just keep an eye on how quick that intro comes in.
Yeah. And if you want to support us on Patreon, there's a link in the description to do that. Okay.
Yes. Well, David, guess what? I finished my first season of The Bachelorette.
Okay, I want to tell all of you watching that I got a text from Sarah in between when she saw the first 2 episodes, and she was like, that first episode threw me for a loop. She was like, I'm too invested.
Yes. That night one, I was like, how did I get here?
As soon as I got that text, I was like, I reeled her in. Yes.
Yeah, you did.
Got her.
I'm not happy about it, though. Not happy about it.
I figured as soon as, because I hadn't seen the episode yet. And when you were like, I'm too invested, this threw me for a loop. I was like, something happened with Brendan, because I know that Sarah was invested in the Tayshia-Brendan relationship.
Super on board the Brendan train. So that went screeching into a
derailed.
Yeah. Won a hundo. All right. Well, we're going to go through both nights and talk about it all. And I just need your expert opinion on how I'm supposed to feel about these things, David, because I'm new to this heartbreak.
Yeah. Okay. We'll get through it together.
Okay. All right. So awkward weirdness between guys as they're all like.
Now, didn't you watch this in Peter's season where they normally at this point, the people are separated and they aren't really seeing each other anymore. But with Peter's season, they put all the girls in the same room because they wanted Madison to be the last one-on-one date and to see her start to shut down as Peter has slept with the other girls in the fantasy suite. And she had told him, I don't want to sleep with you if you've slept with other people or whatever, because she had the virgin storyline. Now, I feel like it's sort of a function of COVID and where they are. They're just at this resort, so they're always together. But I think the producers are keeping this. I think this is a thing moving forward where they're all going to be around each other while they're going on their final dates.
Okay, I didn't realize that this was new. I did see part of Peter's season. I watched a little bit of Peter's season. So I was very aware that the producers were messing with Madison. They put her third on purpose. They put the girls together on purpose. And I feel like they did the exact same thing here. They're messing with Brendan. They know Brendan's history. They see him wavering and confused. And they said, we'll push him to 3. And we're going to make his date significantly different than the other 2 and mess with him.
It's not like fun and games and paint and ice baths with Brendan. It's like jewelry shopping. And
it's scary
from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. From the beginning, we hear these conversations with Brendan, specifically Brendan and Zach are kind of like, we're not trying to get divorced again. We've both been there, done that. But to me, I mean, maybe I was looking for it because of the text you sent me. But to me, I was seeing more sort of concern from Brendan and confusion and uncertainty from him. And I was like, something's up here. He's getting nervous now that it's down to the final guys.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. Ivan gets the first one. Our love is timeless.
Yes.
Turns out they're going to break a record together.
Now, this is something they've done before as well. They did this on Bachelor in Paradise. And I think it was just world's longest kiss, maybe. Or maybe.
On a beach.
It might have been something with peppers too, hot peppers. Because the only part I remember was the most disgusting part of it was that they kissed for such a long time. And when they finally let go, there was the longest rope of spit in between their mouths. And everyone was like, woo, longest kiss. And it was the most disgusting shot you can imagine. Yeah, it was like a long thing of drool in between their mouths. And now they're back again.
I was surprised we didn't have any saliva. When they pulled away, I was waiting for just drool down their face. And they pulled away very dry. So
They did.
I can't believe you just told me that story because that's exactly what I was looking for. But first
Yeah,
they're
right.
in ice baths, which
Uh-huh.
no, sorry. No
No.
money or fame or world record is gonna get me in a
Mm-mm.
bath of ice.
No.
No, but they do
And
it and they
then
kiss.
it's like 5 minutes and 16 seconds or whatever is
They
the
have to be
record that they're trying
mhm.
to beat. And I'm like, this has got to be the longest 5 minutes they will ever experience in
Oh,
their lives. Like,
yeah.
they're freezing cold, and then they
Mhm.
just have to touch lips, and they're both like their eyes are closed. You can tell they're it's not sensual, it's not sexy. They're just like, I have to keep my lips on yours and try not to like convulse away from you because I'm like
Right.
shivering so hard. It's like
They
painful.
tried to make it sexy. Ivan's, like, touching her butt.
Yeah.
They have, like, the underwater cam, and I'm like,
Right.
Are you, like, getting
Does
into
he
this?
know that he's touching her butt? I don't
Yes,
know. I
yeah.
think he's
No,
probably
his
just like grasping at anything to
numb.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Numb hand. Where am I? Yeah. But
Yeah.
I can't believe they did it, and then I thought, well, I wonder who she ends up with because she has this record of a kiss
Mm,
with Ivan no matter who she ends up with.
yeah.
That's just something that she
Yeah. Well, and
has.
I thought like, oh, this is so hard, so hard. Like, oh God, this is difficult to watch because they're freezing cold. But it must not have been that hard because they beat the record by like a whole minute. They were like, man, we'll keep going. You know,
Yeah.
we're basically frozen at this point, so we might as well just stay here for another minute beyond the world record.
And who's Big Polly?
No clue. Never seen him
Okay.
before in my life.
Great. And this commenting with Chris was just kind of awkward because they're both like,
Mhm.
look at them, still
Yeah.
kissing. Huh.
Yep. Oh wow.
So that kiss is still going. Like
Yeah.
they
It
had
turns
nothing.
out
What were they gonna say at this point?
no, they're in a freezing cold ice bath and they're like frozen. You know, they're not
Mhm.
moving. So it's just watching two people sit there and suffer for 6.5 minutes, you know?
So that happened. Okay.
Yeah. Then we go back to Brendan and Zach, and it's this awkward thing where there's two of you there. You
Mhm.
get the knock at the door. Brendan grabs the envelope, and then Brendan has to read to Zach, the only other guy there, about his date that he's about
Yeah.
to go on. Brendan's
Yeah.
like, Zach, let's explore one another. Love, Tayshia. And it's like, of course, Brendan is like spiraling about like, what does that mean? And Zach's like,
Yeah.
ooh, what does that mean? You know, it's like such an awkward situation.
Because explore is they're all their minds went to one place with
Yes.
explore. And
Sex.
Zach's excited about it and Brendan's like
Mhm.
terrified about it.
Mhm.
But you also know whoever picks up the card, it's not going to be them. Like
Yeah.
no one's ever read their name, right?
No,
That's
no.
not how you would produce that.
Exactly.
The takeaway of the night was what the heck is this airstream? And also, he said that he's falling in love with her, and she said, "I'm falling for you too."
Yeah. Again,
And I
we've
was
talked about
like,
this before about the stages
"Oh,
of falling for you, falling in love with you, in love with you,
yeah,
I love you. Like there's a certain, you know, order that these things come in. And Ivan does say, I'm undoubtedly falling in love with you. And then she says, I'm falling for you, which is a step back from where
yeah,
Ivan was. You know,
right,
she's further away than he is. So
yeah."
that was not great. And then you're right. Like this airstream is not sexy. It's tiny. They're like, okay, I guess we can make this work.
Yeah,
It's the smallest fantasy suite I've ever seen on this
right.
show.
Now,
And
I love an airstream. If I pass one on the road, Douglas is like, "Oh, airstream." I think they're so adorable.
yeah,
I'm romantically envisioning myself in one going across the country. Like, I want an airstream, and it was cute with the little chairs out front. But when we're talking about a romantic night, you saw them like cramming in. They
yeah,
were like,
right.
"Okay, I guess we can make this work." Oh.
She's like literally in like a sequin jumper, like crawling around a camper. I'm like, these things don't go together. Like this is not, you know, the ultimate like romantic fantasy. This is like rustic and camping and like
Right.
let's like not shower and whatever, but
Yeah.
they're all like glam and gorgeous, both of them.
Right.
And, just in this tiny little camper. So
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, but then apparently they stayed up all night because earlier on in the episode, JoJo had showed up. They had to get their money's worth from JoJo. She showed up to tell Tayshia how important these final dates were, how important the fantasy suite was, not just for like the physicality of it, which is what everybody goes to first, but for these real conversations. Yes. Cameras off, producers gone. Talk about where you're going to live. What is your job going to look like? These kinds of things. And it sounds like Tayshia and Ivan did talk about a lot of those things.
Yeah, I wasn't even sure that they did anything besides talk, because that's really all they sort of, expressed, were like, we were up all night talking, really like weeded through some of that important stuff. And I was like,
well, and
underlying.
Tayshia specifically brought up religion here. Yeah. And that just felt out of nowhere for me. Like, I don't know, maybe they both believe in God, maybe one does and the other one doesn't, but God has not really been like a central thing for this season. Like, they've had bachelors and bachelorettes who have been very Christian before, but that wasn't a recurring story beat here. So for it to come up here felt like that maybe is something where they're different, and they're realizing now that they're different on religion.
Okay, I did not pick up on that, because I was like, oh, good. They talked about religion. That's important. But nobody has told me anything. I don't know what she believes or feels is important to her. And I don't know the same thing about Ivan. It has not come up at all. And I'm kind of mad that, it surprises me later.
I know.
So,
it was weird.
She's like, great, we got to talk about religion. And I'm like, what about it? Okay. Details, please. But no. All right. So they part ways, and she's gotten no sleep, but now she has to get ready for a second date.
Yeah. I was talking because, I watched this with my friend Sam, and we were talking about like, does she was just up all night. She's probably got to go right into hair and makeup now, because she's like cute in her pajamas and her glasses and whatever. She's got to get full glam again to go on another afternoon date? Or is there like a day in between these dates? I can't imagine a production would shut down for a whole day to like let her rest. So
no, they don't. And I think she probably got like a couple hours of a nap, and then she had to get ready again. And this time she's going to explore with Zach.
Yes. So this is body paint. They're creating a work of art together, but really they're just smearing paint all over each other and then rolling around in it. And there's just an energy with the two of them.
There's a physical energy between them.
Yeah, they're cuddling as they're like disgusting and covered in paint. Can't stop holding hands. They're just constantly grabbing onto each other, and they just want to be next to each other. It just honestly feels like they are in love here.
Okay. I just feel like they want to make out. I don't. Physical attraction does not equate love.
True.
To me.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen people who are like, I can't keep my hands off of you, and then it fizzles within a couple days. So, the fact that they just like constantly make out, me, like this is how I watch that kind of stuff. Like I missed most of this date because they can't stop touching each other. I get that that's a plus. But to me, it does not equal love. So,
no, you're right. It doesn't equal love. But there is like a magnetism there where they are just like,
there's a physical attraction between the two of them.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And then they go to they shower. Of course, they had to get the shower in there, washing the paint off of each other. Again, more smooching, making out. Sarah's loving it. And then we go to dinner. And this is where Zach and Ivan are different, because Zach is like, I love you. Not just because, isn't this the moment where he's like, I'm going all in. Like, I'm here to tell you that I love you. And she's like, thank God you said it, because I wanted to say it. And I love you too. And that is incredibly rare for the Bachelor or Bachelorette to say, I love you back. That really means something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because, honestly, I'm listening to these like keywords, not knowing if it's real or not. But she's like, I love you. And I was like, oh, snap. That's a big difference from I'm falling for you.
Yeah.
Not even a love squeezed in there.
No.
She's like, oh, thank God you said it because I love you too. But hello, before that, red flag on the play.
Okay.
She's like, so I just want to ask you a question. When your mom was here, she was like, yeah, he doesn't want kids. And like, I told you I wanted 5 kids. And you were like, cool, that sounds good. She's like, so what's this about? And I was like, what's this about? That feels a bit different when the mom is like, oh no, my son doesn't want kids. And he's over here being like, I want kids.
Oh, see, I was not paying close enough attention there because I'm just like a Zach stan. And I'm like, yeah, Zach, great. Everything's wonderful. They love each other. I don't want to pay attention to any flaws in their relationship.
No, she doesn't either. So she's right there with you. He said exactly the right words. He's usually very good with his words. And he was like, you know, I had walls up and now I know that I deserve those things. I deserve a family and kids. And so she was like, great, I love you too. And we moved past all the red flags.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you are right on the money when you say he's good with his words, because this is not the first time this episode where he gives like an epic speech that he just says all the right things, you know, within like a 30-second monologue. And it's like, whoa, how did you do that? Like, how did you cover over everything you needed to cover there? And I think it's a factor of age. Like, this guy's 36 and, you know, he maybe is just a smooth talker. People have that skill. But like, when you have like a 24-year-old trying to give a speech like that, they haven't been around the block. They're trying to like connect the thoughts as they're talking. And Zach has already done this multiple times. So he's kind of got the sound bites right there available to him. Yeah,
he does. And now I find out not everyone's getting the airstream. I thought all 3 of these guys would get the airstream.
Me too. I was like, this is shady for Zach and Tayshia to get this gorgeous suite now with a king size bed. I'm like, whoa, okay. They really gave Ivan the friend zone date here.
They did. They either did that or she was like, guys, I'm not doing the airstream again. It was one of those. She was like, that was cute for TV. She's like, but I'm not sleeping in that again. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they get this gorgeous suite and, you know, guess what? They want to do nothing more than touch each other. So they're all about it.
Yeah. And it seems like they did that because they woke up dancing, bouncing on the bed,
jumping on
real
the bed, dancing.
Happy in the morning. You know, I have a feeling there was some christening going on at night. And again, to me, it just, and this is, I think, partly because Zach's one of my faves, but it just feels like they're dating here. They're like laughing and flopping around on the bed, and it just has a different feel than, you know, when she woke up with Ivan and they just kind of like sat on the couch next to each other and like ate and were like, we just stayed up all night having really intense conversations. And, okay. Have a good morning. Great. Bye.
Yeah. I was like, okay, that was real. Great. Bye.
Yeah.
You know, once again, Zach's like, I've never jumped on a bed with someone before. I feel euphoric. This is amazing. And she's eating it up, and David's eating it up, and everybody's eating it up. So,
yep.
Good stuff. All right. Also, what I thought was interesting is sort of earlier in this date, in one of her confessionals, she was like, I like a little swag. And she's like, I noticed Zach has it. And I was like, wait, what? Zach has swag?
Sarah.
That was just me. David, you think he has swag, right?
I do. I
was like, wait, where, Tayshia? Where was that swag? I missed it.
He kind of has this, to me, it's like a little bit annoying swag, to be honest. Like, if I'm being totally fair here, because it's kind of like, you know how there's like that characterization of people and they kind of like talk like this, like, and they like move their tongue around and they're like, and I feel like that Zach has like a little bit of that, which is not super hot to me, but apparently Tayshia likes that.
She likes it.
Yeah.
I didn't know car salesmen had swag, but they do. Yeah. Okay. Well, now
date number 3.
this is where I die a little bit inside.
Sarah's train has run off the tracks. It's a runaway train and she can't get control of it. And Brendan is going jewelry shopping. Neil Lane's back, Sarah's fave.
Stop it. I'm giving Heather is supporting Zach too. I want to give everyone their moment to support Zach because I don't want it to seem like I just don't like it. Okay. Yes. First off, this is too much Neil Lane. What is he doing back? He gets an entire date with these people, not just like a little scene.
Yes.
But this is when I start to get angry at producers because this is them pushing Brendan. They see where Brendan is nervous. Yep. And so does he get to do a fun record of a kiss with her? Does he get to roll around with paint with her? No, he has to go shopping for her jewelry to just like force on him that he would be making this big decision.
Yeah. And he is like this.
Yeah. He's terrified.
Time. He's just like, he's not really looking at Tayshia. He's just like, it's like he's about to throw up because he's also very pale. And he's like, I just got to focus on Neil. I just got to stare at Neil and then maybe I can keep my lunch down. But he is just a bundle of nerves. He looks scared. Deer in headlights. Like I can't even, list too many descriptors here of him just being shook in this moment. This is not a romantic date for him.
No, it's not. It wouldn't be romantic for most people, especially not someone scared. But even like someone who's ready is like, really? We're ring shopping? Okay. Like, let's go look for a mattress next. Like, this isn't exciting or fun at all.
No.
And yes, the producers do this. And this is why I get mad because if they were really legitimately trying to set people up with their soulmates and find love, they wouldn't be doing things to fight against them. And they did this with Madison last time, and they're doing it with Brendan now, and it makes me angry. And but what we learn
at the same time, I'm like, Brendan, you knew a version of this was coming. Like, it's not common for you to go shopping with Tayshia for jewelry and to see rings on her finger. But if you've ever seen this show, you know that if you make it to the final two, you're going to sit down with Neil Lane one-on-one and you're going to pick a ring to put on Tayshia's finger for when you propose. So like,
there's a proposal.
Did this creep up on you? Yeah. Like, are you
get married
just now realizing like, wait, everybody's gone. And that means that Tayshia might want to marry me. Yeah. Oh God. Like, what have I done? Really, you're realizing that now?
But I do give him credit. Okay. So one of the reasons I was on a Brendan train is because I felt like he was a genuine person. And I do feel like this is in line. Like when he starts talking, he comes back for the evening. He's obviously had time to go away and think about this.
And put his turtleneck on.
Put his other turtleneck on. Okay, pause. I was actually looking forward to this fantasy suite because I started to think, is he insecure about his clavicle? Is something going on here? And I wanted to see him shirtless.
Oh.
Just because it came to me because he didn't wear a mock turtleneck. He wore a collared shirt.
Banded collar, yeah.
Is that what that's called? And I was like, oh man, he won't show his neck. He just straight won't show his neck. So then I was like, that's all I was watching. I was like, okay, I need him to take his shirt off. I need to understand what's happening with the clavicle. But I did not get that wish because Brendan, true to form, was a genuine person. And he was like, look, I've been divorced. It's hard. Don't want to rush into anything. And I'm just not ready. And he said all the right words, all the reasons I love him, he said to her. And it was just, I was gutted at this point.
It was, it was heartbreaking to hear him talk about like, I'm still broken from this thing. And I want to give you my whole heart, but I just can't. And I'm sorry. And like, I'm going to go now rather than like dragging this on any further. If I were to like play a little bit of the opposite side as you, Sarah, I would say like, really, you waited this long again? Like you're just now realizing that you're still broken. You had a while to figure this out, but okay. Credit to him to stand up and be like, let's not do the fantasy suite. I don't want to like go and like take a relationship to that level when I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. So, better late than never for him to realize this or to like leave her, standing in that, dead pile of palm fronds at the end of the episode,
Oh my
like
God.
heaven forbid that
Yes.
happens. So good for him to realize it here. But Tayshia's not happy about this. Like she is so heartbroken and crying. And at this moment when she's like embracing him, like doesn't want to let him go, I realized it was supposed to be Zach and Brendan in the final two.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what we predicted. We saw the chemistry with her and both of them. And she says to the camera, like, from our first one-on-one, it was Brendan. It was always Brendan.
Yeah.
She kind of said, now I'm going to go to my number 2. Is kind of what she said to us. When she was like, it was always Brendan. But I was like, I feel you, girl. It was always Brendan. I know. Why? And that's when I'm texting David. And I'm like, why am I so invested? And I'm heartbroken that Brendan's going. And now I just want Tayshia not to pick anyone and just say, Brendan, when you're ready, I'll be here for you.
Right. Yeah. But Brendan's gone. So she, watches him drive away. She's like just a ball of tears, very distraught. Yeah. And then Rachel is back to give Tayshia advice. And to be honest, I don't really remember what Rachel even said to her at this point. Do you?
No, I don't. I missed who it was. I missed her name. And so I was waiting to take a note and then I got no notes to write down. So
she was the first, Black Bachelorette. She's kind of like an iconic figure in the franchise. But the conversation was kind of a nothing burger for me because then it's like Ben's back all of a sudden, and he's there to talk to Chris and he wants to just make sure she knows that he loved her. He messed up. They set this up in his limo ride around the corner back to his suite. But when he was like, maybe she thinks that I don't love her. Oh God, how horrible would that be? So, he stayed for an extra night. He got a late checkout and he was like, can I talk to Chris before I go? Okay, Chris, great. We can extend my stay a few more nights. I need to talk to Tayshia.
Chris and then was like, guess what, Ben? A spot actually opened up. So turns out, yes, you can come back. That's great because we need 3 because she's going to pick 2. So if you could just step into that spot, that'd be really, really fantastic.
And I'm going to tell you something, Ben. She went on a fantasy suite and an airstream with one of them. And Ben's like, oh, that's not okay. I can beat an airstream fantasy suite. Great. Put me back in the game. All right. I'm in.
Let me in, coach. Now, Tayshia's face when he arrives, she's like, over producer surprises.
Yeah. She's like, she looks annoyed more than anything. She's just like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, I look amazing right now. I am ready for this rose ceremony. And here you are in your jeans and white sneakers. What do you want, Ben?
Exactly. She's like, I've had 3 fantasy suites, but one of them broke up with me. I've been through the ringer. I don't need this, but he's here. And he is just laying it on thick. He's like, love you, love you, love you. She needs a minute. And that sort of takes us to part 2.
Yeah. Cause she goes, well, first of all, she's like, just literally give me a minute. She walks back. You see the video village kind of in her suite. There's a dark crew of producers that she's making her way through, and they're all dodging. They're out of her way. And then she gets in this back room, shuts the door, and she's like, what am I supposed to do with that? You can kind of tell that she's talking to her lead producer. And again, Sarah, it's like you say, it's that exasperation with producer surprises where it's like, you sent him here. And I know you did. So what do you want me to do here? Yeah. What am I supposed to do?
And so what we don't see is the producer was like, he should just fill in the 3rd spot. So don't worry about it. Just put him in the 3rd spot. Okay. And she was like, fine, I will. Right. And that's basically what she tells Ben is she's like, you can go to the rose ceremony while I figure this out, which we've heard her say that before. So that would have been it.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's interesting as this was unfolding, I was taking note of how this went down because normally I feel like Tayshia should have had a chat with the other guys and said, hey guys, just a heads up, Ben's back. And I told him he can come out of respect. Some bachelors and bachelorettes have would have taken that route, I think. But he just shows up. The guys have no idea that Brendan's gone, or at least we don't see any footage of them being aware that he's gone. And then Ben shows up to the rose ceremony, and they're both just like, what is happening? Where's Brendan? Like, why is he here? And Ben's like, yeah, you know, she said I could come. And it's still like, there's no explanation of what's going on.
No. And honestly, we don't hear sound bites of like, where's Brendan? We just see Ben walk up and they're like, and Ben says, you know, she invited me back. And they're like, huh? You weren't the guy that was here to begin with. And now you're here? What? Oh, thank you, Natalie. I didn't mean to highlight that one, but thank you since I did. I meant to highlight, what about that kiss? Lori, good point. We skipped over the fact that when Ben walked out, Tayshia kissed him. And then she like pulled away.
She pulled away, but then she kind of like threw her arms around him. Like when he was walking away, she was like, all right, I'm gonna get some kissing out of you. Like you're not going away without this.
And was it in that kiss that she made this decision, or
to let him come?
No, let's just move forward, because what she does next is where I'm trying to wonder when she made that decision.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Ivan was just kind of a goner. I think she had already kind of made up her mind. Again, I think that religion thing is maybe something serious between the two of them.
Well, I'm annoyed by this, but so here, just to give you some, just where my head was at this point. Right. I just went through this devastation of Brendan leaving. And I thought, well, at least we still have Ivan. And even though Ben has shown back up, I think he's just going to take this third spot, and she's still going to give the 2 roses to Ivan.
No chance.
Zach.
I knew immediately Ivan's a goner, because why would she invite Ben to just fill a slot to send him home again? Like,
she did that with Noah.
That's true.
I don't know, David. I don't know. But it just set me up for my second little heartbreak. So here we go.
Yeah. You know, I forget who she even gives the first rose to. It must have been Zach.
She doesn't do that. She stands there like, hey, guys.
Pulls Ivan aside. That's right.
Yes. She's like, hey, guys, I did bring Ben back, and it just didn't work out with me and Brendan. I was like, okay, that's not bad. But okay.
Right.
She's like, it wasn't going to work out. And then she's like holding a rose. And then she's like, actually, Ivan, can I talk to you? And they walk off. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. Well, and then Ben is like a little too chatty in this moment.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, that could be good. It could be bad. Like, I don't know what that means. And Zach is like, why are you talking? I don't want to hear from you. What are you even doing here? He's like, I'm not going to sit here and speculate with you about what that could mean, because you shouldn't even be here. So shut up.
Yes. So this is when we find out how important religion actually is. And I honestly was confused, because she starts talking about, we talked about our morals and religion, and something about compromising her morals, and then they break up and he leaves. And I didn't know if he had requested the religion or if she had requested the religion.
I know.
And I was like, what did I miss?
Yeah.
How did this just get glossed over?
Yeah. I mean, this feels like episodes worth of like potential, story here to talk about someone who has like some kind of very strict moral code or something, that there are like a lot of like deal breakers within that, for the men that she's potentially dating, but we just didn't get any of that. So I'm left wondering, like, because I was also trying to remember, like, was Tayshia super religious on her original season? I don't really remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, maybe someone in the chat remembers, but I'm like, is Tayshia really religious and Ivan is like an atheist or something? Like, it feels like it's that much of a difference here between the two. It's like, there's such a wide gulf between us that it's just, we can't meet in the middle anywhere here. It's like, intense.
I was like, okay, so this is what I thought at first. I thought he was super religious and maybe that's why they just stayed up talking all night and we
Mm,
didn't get those details. But I did some sleuthing because I was so confused by this.
okay.
And it turns out that she specifically said to Ivan that she needs a Christian. This is what
Okay.
Ivan said. He said,
Okay.
she wants a Christian and I'm not religious. I am open to dating women of all religions and faiths.
Got
So
it.
she is the one that put it on him. I thought it was the other way around. But anyway,
Okay.
we get none of that in the show whatsoever.
No,
But
no,
Ivan put
none.
that out on his something.
I see. Okay. So
Okay.
Ivan
That's
goes
new.
home and I don't know,
And then
she's
that's it.
not he's
Done.
not as sad. She's not as sad about him as she was about
She is
Brendan.
not sad at all. I am more sad than she is. It is like
Mhm.
15 minutes into this, and I was like, well, there's no good ending for me. I'm done with this show. Then I just sulked for the rest of the
Oh
episode.
no. Oh God. Well, at least you only had to sulk through a bunch
A
of Zach
lot of
dates.
making out. Yeah.
Well, no, wait. I guess it was the family first. We do get both of them
Yeah.
meeting Tasha's family. So Tayshia goes to her family. We get to see the dad who we saw. I remember him from Colton's season. I don't remember seeing the mom, maybe the brothers, but we get like the whole fam is here. And
Yeah,
she's
side
like,
note, her mom does not seem like Tayshia just talks about her dad the whole time.
I
Like,
know.
what's up
Yeah.
with her
It's
mom?
like,
Like,
what's the
hello,
deal with
she
the
gave
mom?
birth to you. Come on.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
should get some love, right?
I know. So they're all there, and she's kind of saying, like, you're going to meet Zach today and you're going to meet Ben. And somehow it comes up that she'd already sent Ben home.
Yeah.
And basically, her family's like, wait, what? Like, why are we meeting someone that you already eliminated? And she's like, well, he came back and he told me that he loved me. And she's trying to explain it. But the family's got the right reaction there of like, what, this is a waste of our time to meet this guy, because it ends up being a waste of their time.
Yeah, it's a waste of all of our time because
Mhm.
what are we doing here? We're just pretending that she has options when she really
Yeah,
already has decided who she wants to be with.
for
And
real.
so, the parents and the family are polite and they have a date and like her dad is impressed with West Point but yeah,
Yeah.
nothing else really going on there.
Nothing really special there.
Mm-mm.
And, then we get Zach's family date.
Yeah.
And I mean, Zach's conversation with Tasha's dad was incredible. Like, this is another moment
Words.
where he's so
Sales.
good with the words, because the dad is ready. Like, he has stacked the bricks. The wall is up. And he's very much like, this is my daughter. She has been divorced before. She's been down this road on this show before. I am not about to see her get her heart broken again. Forget it. And Zach just like methodically brings every brick in that wall down. And it's like, this is a grown man who knows what the F he wants. And that is Tayshia. And like, I'm not playing games. I love your daughter. And like, he's saying he understands why the dad would be hesitant. He's just saying everything right. It's unbelievable.
Yes. He is. He's saying he knows exactly what to say and he does it so well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe none of it. I don't trust a word you're saying. You are way too good with words. I do not trust people who are that good with their words. What are you selling me, buddy?
Well,
what are you
the
selling
dad
me?
bought it. You
Bought
can
it.
see
Well,
his face change. He like starts to
I don't-
smile a little bit. I feel like his body language changes the more that Zach's talking. And I think he's just like, well, okay, yes. Do I sign something? Or like, what do I do? What do I say here, Zach? I'm sold on what you just pitched me. Yeah, great. I'm in.
Maybe. Let's circle back to that in a minute. But yes, in the moment, it does seem that way. All right. So they have a great date and we move on.
Yeah. Yes. Then this is when dad shows up, right? To Tayshia's room, and she's in her denim romper. And
adorable denim romper.
Denim dress,
knock on the door. And her face is like, are you kidding me? Who is this? And which producer did this? She was like, no, not. I don't care if it's Noah or Bennett or who it is. I don't want them at my door. It just turns out to be her dad, and she like softens. But she was
Totally.
about to tear
No.
someone apart.
She was like, take the door off the hinges. I don't want to hear another knock while I'm here.
She was about to lose it, but she opens the door and it's just her dad. And she's like, "Oh, hey, Dad, what's up?"
Oh,
And
come on in.
what? So because you just expressed all of that information about her dad, what was her dad saying here?
I've got thoughts here. Okay, it sounds like the dad is saying, you're going to make a huge mistake, and both of these guys are just fine, right? Is that the impression that you got from it? He was like, Zach's a good guy, or he was like, I like Zach, and Ben seems like a good guy. I just felt like they were so meticulous about the sound bites that they put together here, because I think they wanted it to seem like the dad was saying, please don't pick either of them. I don't think either of them are for you. And you've been through this before, and I don't want the heartbreak and blah, 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 blah. But I think what he really said was, Zach is the one. And Ben is a good guy, but it's Zach. And I really think that you need to think long and hard about choosing Zach here. And remember, she's in the denim dress, Sarah, because that's important.
Right. Okay. So what I thought was, because obviously they edited whatever her dad said cryptically. We didn't get what he actually said.
Yes.
But he stressed that he didn't want her to make the same mistake. He wanted her to learn from her past.
Okay.
So to me, it sounded like at least one of these guys reminded him of her ex.
Oh, interesting.
And then because we see how nervous she is with Zach at the start of the date, it made me think it was because Zach was the one he was saying.
Interesting.
So again, we don't know what the heck was really said, but that was my interpretation. So that made me think in the moment, he was like, yes, Zach's saying all the right words, but something feels familiar here. She's found that type again. And he was warning her about that.
And you thought it was about Zach.
Yes.
Okay. I read it a different way. I read it as, because I was really focused on him saying, I really like Zach, and Ben seems like a good guy. And I'm like, that's not the same. You're not saying that was
right. But that was edited out of order. So we couldn't tell what he was really saying. He was like, and Ben is a good guy. It was like from a completely different sentence. So it was hard. It's hard to know.
Yeah. Yeah. But she's in the denim dress, and then she's not in the denim dress for the Zach date. She's, in her black getup or whatever. And she goes on this, tango ballroom dancing date with Zach. And it's whatever. It's very cute. Then they go in the evening portion of the date. They have a very intimate convo. They are laying on the bed next to each other. I don't remember a lot of the specifics here, but I just remember it being a pretty strong date with Zach. I didn't pick up on the awkwardness there.
The beginning part, she was nervous and stressed. And she was like, how are you feeling? And he was like, I'm fine. I'm great. What's going on with you? She brought stress to the table. And then when they went to dance, she was super stressed, and she wasn't picking up on the dance steps. And I think she was just in her head worrying. And he was like, it's okay. Just breathe. He was having to calm her down and relax her. By the time they got to the bed and they could talk some stuff out, she had relaxed and definitely was feeling better. But she went into the date nervous. Now, again, obviously because of the romper, we don't know if this happened before Dad. We're assuming it did, right?
We're assuming it did, because after the date with Zach, she's back in the denim dress.
Back in the denim to break up with Ben.
So what happened was Dad came to talk to her as she was getting ready for her date with Ben. And I think he told her, Ben is not the one, and you got to be careful. And she went straight from that meeting with her dad, and she broke up with Ben.
I think that makes a lot of sense because you're right.
Mhm.
She was in that outfit and she didn't waste any time with Ben. He
Yeah.
was all like, "This is it. I'm ready to go." And she
Mhm.
knocked on his door and he was like, "What are you doing here?" And she was like,
Yeah.
"It's not going to work out."
Well, because also at this point, there was only a half hour left in the show, and we just had this like long date with Zach. And I'm like, we still have, is there like an extra hour on this episode tonight? We're like checking the listings. Like, no, Supermarket Sweep is coming on at 10 o'clock. Like that was over in a half an hour. And so then when she is in the denim thing again, we were both like, oh, she's going to break up with Ben. There's no second
Yeah.
date. And then it's just the proposal. Okay, this makes sense. They can fit this within a half hour. So yeah, you're right. It's sort of unceremonious. She's just like, my heart's with Zach. And it
Now,
was
is
never,
that
I already
normal?
sent you home.
Is this normal that you would go and tell? Like, is it normal that you would get rid of the other guy and not even give him the option to propose?
They've done that before for sure. They've handled it different ways. Like it used to be that both of them would show up and do this beautiful proposal, and she would wait to stop him until he was on his way down onto his knee, and then she'd be like, "Wait, stop! It's not you. It's the other guy." And it's
Yeah.
like, I think they got to a point where producers just couldn't talk people into doing that anymore because they're like,
Yeah.
that's cruel. So for a lot of people, if they know, they will just tell them, like, just don't even show up. Like, I'm not even going to put you through that. And like, I know that I'm breaking your heart right now, but it's going to be so much worse if I
Yeah.
ask you to make this long walk over to me in my like proposal gown and you pull out the ring. Like, no, I'm not
No.
putting you through that. So this has definitely happened before.
Gotcha.
Not super unusual.
Yeah. And it does seem to be the polite way. I've broken up with you before, Ben. I
Right.
appreciate the effort, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
move on. And honestly, you guys, poor Ben.
Yeah.
He's a fragile person anyway, and he already gotten broken up with, and now he has to get broken up with again. I just want to make sure we're all checking in on him and he's doing okay.
I know.
And best wishes to you, Ben.
Best wishes to you, Ben. We'll probably see you in paradise, is my guess.
Probably.
Yeah. And then Zach, he gets to pick his ring with Neil Lane. He does not, as far as we know, realize that he's the only one left. He's the guy. He shows up. She's in that giant pile of dead palm fronds in the middle of the desert.
Is she wearing a white dress, David?
I couldn't tell if it was white or silver. I think it had like a metallic element to it. So it wasn't like full on a wedding dress,
Right. At first I was like, why is she wearing a wedding dress? And then I was like, it might be silver.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
He shows up and he's great with his words again.
Oh my gosh.
And I loved it because I love Zach. Like, for a while now, I've been like, I think Zach is the one and I do like him. And he just keeps telling her, I love you over and over again in this speech. And is like, I love you because, and just showering her with like all of this like warm, fuzzy, just like all the feels kind of stuff. And I'm at a buffet, Sarah. I'm like, yes. Give me more of that. I'll have a second helping of that. Yes, I will have another slice of pizza. I know you're not supposed to load up on carbs at a buffet, but put it on my plate. Like I want all of it.
Well. Oh, and I guess that you are the person this show is made for. Because I was like this. And I was like, I would be fast forwarding through this if I didn't have to do a podcast about it to talk to David about it.
Sarah!
Oh, this was my nightmare. He said all these overly flowery words that I didn't buy one lick because, yes, in the moment, he's saying, I love you forever, which is exactly what she wants to hear. And she is just like, she is eating it up. She is melting in his hands. She believes what he is saying.
Yes.
But all I keep thinking about is the fact that he was a unhappy person. He went on The Bachelorette, became a happy person, but he didn't actually do any of the work to become a happy person. So here's my PSA to everybody. Someone else can't make you happy. It may feel like that in the moment. they kept saying, you make me smile. Someone else can only make you smile for so long. If you
Yeah.
haven't done the actual work, you're not actually a happy person. So I'm very worried that Zach is not actually a happy person. He's temporarily euphoric right now. But when they go back to the real world, he still has all of those holes in him.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely got the narrative of like the family seeing Zach smile for the first time in however long, and that they laid that on thick. But I think Zach, like, to me, I look at Zach and I'm like, this is someone who has done a lot of work on himself. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like an addiction specialist. He's been to rehab for however long, like he's in the program, he's doing the steps. And I think that part of the reason that he is so confident and so good with his words is that he has done a lot of introspection and like
Mm-hmm.
knows what he wants and what he's looking for at this point. So I sort of look at it differently.
Yes.
Like, I agree with you. Like, I hope that he's not like, Tayshia saved my life and
Right.
he's going to make my life worth living again, because no, like, you got to find your own identity and who you are aside from her. Like, yes, you're a unit, but you're also individual people still. But I loved it. I was like, I think Zach has done work on himself and is now in a place. And I watched their reaction after they do the mechanics of like, yes, I'm on my knee, and then the rings on your finger. And it's always like, I'm curious, for other people watching this who have like seen previous proposals and all this stuff. Once they get the ring on the finger, there's all the like cheesing for the camera and like, we did it, we're engaged, and all that stupid stuff that is kind of meaningless. They're just doing it for the cameras. But I felt like I caught a couple of genuine moments in there where they were like, holy crap, we did it. Like, we're engaged. Like, they were just so focused on each other and just seemed in love. Like, I was texting with another friend of mine earlier today, and we were both kind of like, this feels like more real than a lot of, recent seasons of The Bachelor.
Well, that's good to hear. I mean, I want the best. I want it to be like they found each other and, he's 9 years sober. That's a lot of work. Like, you have to imagine that he has done a ton of work on himself. So, yes, I hope that like he was just almost there and then she just is the icing on the cake.
Sure.
And that they do have 5 babies and that they live happily ever after. I mean, yes, I do not wish them ill at all.
Yeah.
Just, you guys, I'm a realist. I am not a romantic. And there was a lot of this episode that I was like, can I please stop watching this?
Now, Sarah, how would you have felt if it were Brendan?
Well, I still like want them to be married forever and happy and happy and happy, but I would have been like way more happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I would have been like, yes, they're both in love with each other. This is wonderful. I have no reservations about Brendan whatsoever. He is perfect, but I guess not.
Even though he's the one who was still broken.
I know. Well, see, I'm glad he realized that, and he's gonna go and he's gonna do the work for himself.
He is, and then he's gonna be on Paradise.
Doesn't show up to Paradise yet. Oh God,
he will. He's gonna be there for sure.
Oh, they all
both of them, Ben and Brendan, are definitely gonna be there. But we didn't get any kind of like after the final rose or anything. I think they were like, Men Tell All was enough. Like, that was a huge undertaking, and we got that done. Like, we'll maybe get an update from you at some point later, but they just kind of, walk off into the sunset with their fake taxi. And then there's a preview for The Bachelor, next season of The Bachelor, which they really found a way to do this. That in a way that they did not find at La Quinta. Like, they are on horseback, they are skydiving, they are at this estate, and it's in Pennsylvania somewhere, is what I've heard. It looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they did it in this fall. So it's like gorgeous New England fall. They must have like taken over a whole bunch of areas because they get to do a lot more activities. I think more traditional to the way the show usually goes. And I can't believe it, but we're going to do it. We're going to watch it.
It's like we have 1 week off. Normally, this is the quiet time. September to
Yeah.
December is when Bachelor's off because they've just finished Paradise. And then, we're like gearing up for the winter premiere of The Bachelor. But because everything was delayed, now Bachelorette and Bachelor are back to back. So we got 2 weeks before we got Matt's premiere. And this is going to be an interesting season of The Bachelor because he's brand new. He has not been through the machine before. Like, this is old school Bachelor days where they cast fresh meat every season. But, that because of like what happened here, they cast The Bachelor way earlier than, they normally would have. They would have like picked a guy from Tayshia and Claire's season. But I think Matt was supposed to be on Claire's season. But then when Claire's got pushed, they were like, well, okay, we're just going to make Matt the Bachelor then.
Right.
And he doesn't need to be on Claire's season.
And it looks like a traditional bunch of 22-year-old hoochie mamas.
Yeah,
Is what it looks like.
It does.
So that's exciting.
Yep. So January 4th, premiere of that.
I don't believe I'm excited about this, you guys.
I don't believe you are either.
But I'm going to watch it with David, and we're going to talk about it. So that airs, you said, January 4th. And so we will be live on the Wednesday following it. Our Bachelor recaps will be on Wednesdays in the new year. Yes. And I'm excited as a newbie to see Tayshia and Ivan just defying all the odds and living a beautiful life together and just like show me how it's done, There
you go.
That's what I'm excited about. Well, thanks for taking me through that.
Well, congrats. Now you're a veteran.
That was my jam. That was my jam. But then it became like mushy gushy romantic-y, but that's okay. I get it. I'm on board. I'm in it. I see. Yeah. And I'm gonna just stick with it for a minute and just see
where it goes. Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us live and chatting with us.
Yes, and if you're joining us later, let us know what you thought of this finale. What do you think happened in that airstream with Tayshia and Ivan that was so devastating for their relationship? Were you as bummed about Brendan leaving as Sarah was? And what did you think of Zach's way with words? Did you buy it like I did, or were you a skeptic like Sarah? A little bit of skepticism is healthy, everybody. Just remember that. Sarah's on the right path there.
Sometimes I have too much, and I know it's okay, guys. Okay. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
All right. See you then. Bye.